You got it. The Joy Network.
Everybody shine, shine bright so the whole wide world will know that we are kingdom.
Django, have you always been alone? Django, have you never loved again? Love will live on, life must go on, for you cannot spend your life regretting.
We are live.
You must face another day.
Hey, what up, party people? How y'all doing?
You hear me? All right,
I
all
can
right.
hear you. There you go,
Dave
Nakia.
couldn't hear me. I don't know what was going on. Can y'all hear me?
Now we can hear you. You're supposed to be talking into that favorite object.
Listen,
I know
I'm
you
talking
have
into the
experience.
mic. I'm speaking into the mic. There
All
you
right.
go.
Well, what's up, party people? How y'all doing? This is your boy Digging the Django. We are live again with another episode of The Devil's Advocate. Django is on location. I am in a place called Burnt Scrotum, Arkansas,
Burnt
just across
scrotum.
from Mississippi. Yeah,
Did you make that
Burnt
up?
Scrotum. No, it's actually a place called Burnt Scrotum.
I feel like you made that up.
No, it's called Burnt Scrotum, Arkansas. Kind of like Possum Grape, but I'm just across the river from Mississippi, with black folks kind of in time warp. So I want to thank everybody for joining us today. I had work today, and of course, Dones Malone, he out there fighting a good fight. I had a trial yesterday, and then I had to sit up here this morning, so I wasn't going to make it back to Little Rock in time. So we are happy to have you guys here. I want to thank you guys
This is not
for
working
joining
today.
us. Of course, I've got my co-host Black Beauty. She's in today. How you doing? Holding it down for me.
I am good. How are you doing? It's
I'm
hot.
doing
Like,
fine. I am rolling.
man, it
I'm looking
seems like the
wild.
temperature has gone up
Looking
since.
wild though. See how wild I'm looking? Because you
Man,
got to
you see
find in order to
me.
do the show, you got to
Look at
go
me.
somewhere. But what's wrong with your wig?
Man, it's hot outside. I'm ready to just pull it off and throw it up under the couch or something, you know?
And I know some don't even want to see like it wants to go. But before we get
Right.
started, I want to thank everybody that came out last week to our second annual picnic. We had a great time. Now it was
We
hot.
did.
I will tell everybody, I did not expect it to be as hot as it was going to be, and it was really ironic because when we got out there, it was cool, and then it was like the wind went away and hell's sun came out around 3 o'clock and just made it hot. So I just want to thank everybody for joining us who came out, the admins who got gifts and got appreciation gifts. And I want to thank everybody. We had a good time. Next year, I'm looking at doing it inside because I keep forgetting we live down south. And when you live down south, there's no way you're going to sit around here in September and have it where the temperature is going to be
Well,
even mildly reasonable at the beginning of September.
if you do it on the inside, it's no longer going to be the annual Devil's Advocate picnic. It'll be the Devil's Advocate party or something to that effect. So, do you really want to do it inside? Why don't you just push it back in September to when it's a little cooler?
Okay, well, we could do that too. Well, I try to do it with black folk. Ain't got to go to work on Monday.
I
Black
mean,
folks, we like having our
people,
Mondays off.
people are going to do
But
what they want to do. And what I mean by that, if it's something that's important to you, they'll do it.
yes, I would agree with that. You would have no argument with me on that
Right.
one.
Ronnie, you
So
can't what? What can't you do? He said, I can't, y'all.
no, you're right. So I had to.
Sherry Hamilton says, I can't hear anything but a bunch of feedback.
Okay, hold on.
Do you
What
hear
we're gonna do? I'm
feedback,
gonna turn
Dave?
my phone down. Is that better?
Is that better, you guys?
I think you're resonating.
Did Sanji say
I hope
something?
so. Well,
I can't
yeah,
understand
well, I
what's
had to do
being
that. Phone
said.
down.
Okay.
I think, yeah, okay. Now we're better. Let me turn my phone down. So, all right. So today we got a very interesting topic. What we're going to talk about today, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be right up Dave's alley. How you doing, angry black man? How you doing today? I'm gonna wait for him to pull the mic to him.
I'm doing swirlingly wonderful.
Swirlingly wonderful. Okay, that's a new one. Swirlingly. Swirl. Swirl day.
Well, we gonna see how wonderful he gonna be.
Swirlingly.
Swirlingly.
Are you twirling, bro?
Spell it for us.
No, don't spell it for us.
SWIRLINGLY.
Swirlingly.
Okay. Now, see, I need you to use smaller words when we on the air because you know I got that deficiency of learning. So I need to use smaller words. We're gonna have some problems on this show.
Okay, so you're on the short bus?
Yeah. We use smaller words. I'm on the short bus today.
Okay.
So today, what we want to talk about, I don't know if how many of you guys got a chance to watch Dave Chappelle's new not new sitcom, but his new stand-up. And it was called Sticks and Stones. And of course, you know, he's getting a lot of blowback from that because
he was getting blowback at first, you know, and even the critics kind of gave him bad reviews, but they went back and re-reviewed it and have given him higher views. So it's kind of back and forth. One day it's low marks, the next day it's high marks. One day they're mad, the next day they're not mad. So it's kind of like whichever way the wind blows for how people feel about it, depending on what audience they're with or who they're with, how they react to it. That's
Right.
what I'm getting out of it.
Well, I see in this, and you know, one of the initial criticisms of the stand-up was about his comments with the LBGT community. That was one of the initial criticisms about it, is that, you know, of course, he's not being PC. And then, of course, this week, you know, well, not this week, but last week, you had Kevin Hart. He was involved in a car wreck, and we're going to send our prayers out to him. Hopefully he'll come through that. And, you know, of course, as soon as that car wreck comes out, of course, an interview came out where he was talking with Lil Nas X, who does Take My Horse to the Old Town Road.
Right.
And, of course, people wanted to raise hell with Kevin Hart about
The questions he asked.
right, about the question that he asked him and about his sexuality. So what we want to talk about today is it getting to a point that there's a head that's coming between it. Is the LGBT community a little too hypersensitive about certain issues when it comes to comedy, or is it that there's becoming a festering head that comes up between, especially black people and the LGBT community? And of course, look, you had one of the NFL players, I forgot his last name, believe it or not, he played for Tampa Bay. He came out about being bisexual.
Right.
You had Malik Yoba, Yul Brenner. He came out and said that he likes trans women.
Right.
So I guess the question becomes and here's, I guess, where I want to play devil's advocate with the conversation. Is it necessary, if you do live what we call a quote unquote alternative lifestyle, is it necessary for you to announce that?
No, it's not. It's not necessary for you to announce anything. It's a choice to announce whatever you want to announce, regardless to what it has to deal with.
Well, my question is, heterosexual people don't have to announce their sexuality, so why do we feel that people in the LGBT community have to announce it as if they're lifting some sort of weight off their shoulders by announcing?
I don't feel that anybody, regardless of your sexual orientation, that you have to announce anything. What you like sexually or who you're attracted to actually has no direct impact on my life in any shape, form, or fashion. So I don't care about that. It's not necessary to announce it. And I've always, wondered why people announce it. And of course, I've read articles or seen comments where people say that heterosexuals don't have to announce it because it's the assumption. But my question is, why are you assuming about someone's sexuality?
Well, I mean that's the point. When we see football players that go on stage and they do certain things, don't we just want them just to play the game? I mean, I don't really need to know who you're sleeping with. Right. I don't really need to know who you're doing it with. I don't need to know what your orientation whatsoever. I guess what I need to know is, can you catch the ball? Can you run those yards?
I think
Uh,
that it's like that in any employment situation or anything that you're doing. All I want to know is that you're able to do what's necessary at that time, affecting me, what I'm watching you do, or what I paid you to do. I don't care about any of that other things. Hey, Desanjay, they're still saying that we're having sound problems.
well, I muted my phone, so we shouldn't be having it. I
So
muted my phone when you
I'm
got
not.
me on live, so we shouldn't be having it.
Lala Harper just
Go
said it's
download the Joynet Radio app.
download the
Yeah,
JoyNet radio app, and you guys shouldn't have any problems. Is
right. If you listen to the Jordan, I tell these guys this every week. Every week. If you listen to the show live, not only can you hear everybody, include the people that call in, so you don't have to guess what we're talking about, you can listen live. We only run live for the benefit of people who cannot get on the show because they're working. So please listen to JoyNet. That is what we try to do. We try to steer our audience to the actual radio show. See what I'm saying? It's black folks. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? When you try to do stuff like you bring them food, you try to make them a fish sandwich, try to give them food that
I'm
ain't from Pig Five. See how they act?
I'm trying to figure out if it's because I brought you in and you're on Skype and on the phone. Could that possibly be it?
Well, would you
Let me
like?
let
Well,
me
actually,
try this
some,
one more
I,
time.
Okay.
Download the
uh-huh.
Joynet Radio app. Go to joynetradio.com and click on your Perspective app, and you solve
Tell
your
'em.
problem.
Tell them, Dave. See what I'm saying? Black folks just hard headed. They
Okay.
hard headed.
DJ Ant said that it's two live feeds going at the same time, and that's why we're having bad feedback. But you know.
Well, I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take myself off your feet. You keep running your live, okay?
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Now we don't
Okay.
have. See, now we don't have the feedback.
Okay, you
Now, so they can
guys,
stop crying.
do we have feedback now?
I don't
JoyNet
hear it.
radio app, Lala.
Yep. Run the JoyNet Radio app live, black folk.
Do we still have feedback, you guys? We're sorry. We're
Well,
trying
let
to
them
do
know
better.
we'll continue talking about what we talking about.
Okay, come on with it.
So, anywho, so what we're doing and what we talk about when we do this, and I want Dave's perspective on it because there's been a lot of brouhaha, and there's also been a lot of brouhaha at your boy Jay-Z. And I know Dave already is going to know about this. I don't know if he's talked about this on Black Focus about the company that he's aligned himself with. I'm trying to remember the young lady's name. I think it's Sally Hazelgood or some how he, but supposedly they're avid Trump supporters
Right.
and they have this cultural thing, and he's done that. And so now, naturally, the fact that he's become a major buyer in the NFL, naturally, it's some natural blowback with that.
Well, Jay-Z has invested in quite a few businesses. He's also invested in a business that's doing the monitoring of inmates. So he's been getting a lot of blowback this week.
Yeah. So let me add Dave because I want to ask him and get his little input on this about where we're going in a society where one comedians can't say anything because the question becomes, and this goes into another subject I also want to talk about, is what happens now when comedians have to be off limit with certain things. Okay, most of us grew up with Richard Pryor. Most people, I'm having somebody text me saying my voice is clear, so I don't know what they're talking
Yeah, Avery just said that it's clear. Lala said that there's no feedback now. So, yeah,
about.
it's
Okay.
coming
So
through
now we
great.
know what we got to do, don't we?
Yeah.
We know what we got to do. Okay. So we're getting this new notion and this new issue now. But most of us, and for us, are going to tell on our age. We grew up on Dolomite. I can't wait for Eddie Murphy to redo that. We grew up on Richard Pryor. We grew up on Red Fox.
Right.
Right. Some of us who were teenagers, grew up on Eddie Murphy. So my thing about it is, we grew up on a lot of these comedians who were in prime time, and they frequently use the N-word. Okay. So now it seems that there's this new cultural apparition that now you can't use the N-word unless you're a black comedian. And now if you say anything remotely disparaging about the LBG community, now that you have to either apologize or they're going to try to destroy your career. And so here's the reason why I have an issue, I guess, with when we talk about the PC notion of it. When we grew up, we could laugh at Richard Pryor talking. In fact, I just watched it last night, not last night, but a couple of nights ago on Netflix. Richard Pryor live in concert.
You watched him
Right.
live on the Sunset Strip. That one.
I was live on the Sunset Strip,
Right.
but Richard Pryor live in concert was one of his best stand-ups.
Right.
One of his best. Live on the Sunset Strip was good, but it wasn't quite as good as Richard Pryor live in concert, where he did Patti LaBelle as one of his opening acts. And he used the N-word all through it. And he actually made fun of white people white people at the time made up almost half of his audience.
Right.
So my question becomes is why we got now 30, 40 years later, where we've gotten to a point now that comedians can't say anything about the LGBT. Think about it. Kevin Hart made some comment. Look what they did. They made him basically leave hosting, what was it, the Emmys or the
I think it was
Oscars
the
because of
Oscars,
his.
yeah.
So what kind of society have we gotten where now we're so hypersensitive about certain things that we can't talk about it even in a jokingly fashion, not in a disparaging fashion? You know, when Richard Pryor used to say the N-word in his concert, I didn't think he was trying to talk down about black people. I just figured he was just using it to get a full effect.
Well,
You
okay.
understand?
So the thing is, here's what people say, that as you evolve, you stop doing the things that you used to do. When you know better, you do better. So that's the argument that we have, is that when you know better, you do better. So they're saying that the different comedians should know better than using different words, you know, disparaging words. They should know better than saying different things about, you know, different people in the community or in our society, things like that. But my thoughts on it, it's a comedian. That's what you expect them to do. No one is safe. I mean, and
Well, that's using like the F word or the Q word, you know, the F word, which was
Right.
common in, gay community, or the Q word, which became prevalent in the 90s.
yeah, and
Or,
even, but the thing is,
you
you
know.
first have to be able to make fun of yourself before you can
Right.
make fun of anyone else. Every comedian that I watched has made fun of themselves and then moved on to other people. The thing is, if you're paying money to see these shows, or you're simply watching it on TV, obviously you know what to expect. And if you don't, once you get a taste of it, if you don't like it, go on. Plain and simple.
Right. Right.
I do
So,
think that.
so
Go
let me
ahead.
get that. Let me get Dave in on this, because I know Dave has a lot to say about this, and he usually has. And this concerns even from the sports aspect. Is it if you live in an alternative lifestyle, if you're bisexual or you're gay, or you like trans women, if that's what you like, if that's your thing, is it necessary to basically lift those bricks? Because my thing about it is, I'm pretty sure a lot of NFL players don't care, nor do they tend to care. So why announce it? That's I guess my question. If you mind running, unless you Zeke from Cowboys, yeah, he looked like, but anyway, the cowgirl. But my thing about it is, I don't think the other players really care. I think that they look at you as another player, and they want to go out there and they have a team effort to try to go out there and be winners. I don't think that they really go in there and say, hey, man, that dude's jockstrap like it's hanging a little low, so maybe we need to question him, or why is he wearing rainbow colors, around his armband. So Dave, let me ask you about that. What do you think about that in this age of political correctness?
Well, personally speaking, if there is a player, obviously I played sports. I don't care what you do outside the locker room, but I want to know that you're gay. I mean, I don't think I should be dressing in front. Look, let's put it this way. Should women be dressing in front of men in a locker room? No. That's why they have separate locker rooms. So if I don't want you, I want to know that you're gay, so that if I make the choice whether or not I want to dress in front of you or not, that's my right, just like it's your right to be gay. It's the same with those transsexual women who are faking out these men. You don't have a right to make these men gay because you're transsexual. You need to be upfront with them and let them know, hey, look, I'm a trans. And then let him make the choice whether or not he wants to be with you. And if he doesn't, that doesn't mean that he's homophobic. It just means he don't want to be with a trans woman, But and I agree with you. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. My oldest brother was gay long before people started coming out. Lived in San Francisco all his life. Died of HIV, about 3 years ago. So my point is this. There's not a homophobic bone in my body. But just like you have rights, I have rights, okay? And when your rights begin, mine end, and vice versa. And it seems to me that the homosexual or the LGBT community seems to always want to attack. And here's the bottom line. Many of them are more racist than some of these white folks out here. And I'm just being real with you, okay? So at the end of the day, I don't care what you do in your bedroom, because if you don't tell me you're gay, I'll never know you're gay. Right. And I'm tired of you all trying to equate blackness with being gay, because there is a distinct difference. Because if you don't tell me you're gay, I don't know that you're gay. Right. But every day I can't take this skin off. Right. Okay, so there's a distinct difference in those. What they've done is hijack the civil rights movement, which is what many people have done. Asians have done it. Every minority that has come over here has hijacked our movement and benefited themselves and left us in the dust. And part of that is our fault. So that's kind of how I feel about it. I'm not trying to offend anyone. You can sleep with who you want. If you can sleep with goats. If you want to, that's your business.
Why you gotta go there, Dave?
Okay.
Now, I'm all offended now, because see, gays are some good people. You don't never see goats beating their team.
Well, I'm just saying. So, so from my perspective, at the end of the day, you guys can do what you want, but don't make it as though I have to agree. Look, there's a lot of stuff that everybody do every day. I don't agree with everything everybody does. Okay? Neither do you. So don't tell me because I'm some type of bad person if I don't agree with your lifestyle. That could be doing drugs. That could be out here sleeping with everything that moves. Right. And it could be being in a gay community. That's your business.
Okay, so my question to you, Dave, is this. You said that you play sports and that you would want to know if your teammate was gay. And I'm sure in fact, I know I won't call his name, but I have teammates who are gay, who have finally come out. Okay, so my question is this. Once you found out, while you were playing sports, if you found out that your teammate was gay, what were you going to do? Was there anything, were you going to change anything about how you were handling the situation? Were you going to act different towards them? What's the purpose of them telling you? I probably would not have dressed in front of him in the locker room. But other than that, hey, if you can get the job done, I don't care what you are. But again, I have the right to know. Right. Look, at the end of the day, let's look. Our number one base instinct is sex, right? Some people say food. Yeah. All right. But everybody would agree that your number one base instinct is sex. So let's put it this way. If you walk through here naked, not you, Django, but you, Nakia, you think I'm not going to look. You know why? Yeah, I got a couple of love handles. It don't matter. You think I'm not going to look? You think I'm not going to? Let me look at them. Look at that. You see what I'm saying? Yes. So because my instinct is I desire women. Right. Okay? If Django walks through here with his butt out, I'm going to say, man, what the hell wrong with you? Right. Okay? Nothing like that turns me on. Right. Okay? My point is this, that if you desire men, you're gay, and you're dressing in a dressing room, you don't tell me you're not checking out those guys? Well, and would be. One other point. Don't I have the right to know whether or not you're checking me out or you have the potential to do that? No, you don't have the right to know if I'm checking you out. Okay. If I want to check you out, I'm going to check you out. Okay. But in a locker room, it's different because you're butt naked. Okay, so their argument would be, you're not gay, I'm not attracted to you. Or you don't look the way that I want you to look, or of the person that I would prefer. So it doesn't matter if I'm dressing in. That's a bunch of crap. Look, I don't care look. This morning I was somewhere, and this lady was walking down the street in this bodysuit. You was looking. I looked. I'm a man. Was it attractive? After I got a good look, it wasn't. But still, I looked. It's human nature. So stop this mess about I ain't gonna be look. Yeah, you are. You a damn lie. I'm just simply saying that I, as a individual, you would have the right to know that if we're in a locker room, I have a right to know
whether or not you're gay. I have a right to know that. You don't have a right to hide behind that and be able to scope me out. It's just like a woman. Look, think about it from this. What was the name of that thing, that movie that the Wayans did? White Chicks.
White Chicks, yeah.
Okay? Just think about if you dressed as a woman, and I've heard some men have done this, dress as a woman to be able to infiltrate women's locker rooms. I've heard men do that. Was that fair to those women?
No, it's not fair.
That's my point. So why is it that when a man gets upset about you checking him out, everybody says, "Oh, you so homophobic"? No, I'm not. I have a right to my privacy.
Okay, so if they never tell you,
Then I'm good. I'll never
Right.
know.
So it goes back to the initial question. Why do you have to make the announcement? Is the announcement necessary? It goes back to that question. Is the announcement necessary?
That's a good question.
Because if I know, now you got some things. Ignorance is bliss.
Well, it's almost like
Right.
I'm gay. I want special privileges. That's what it sounds like when you make that announcement. Dude, I don't care what you do in your bedroom. I just don't.
Right.
Now, maybe some people do. There are some puritanical people and religious people out there. But guess what? If you never told them you were gay, they never know.
So,
Yep.
so the bottom line is, don't make the announcement if you don't want to be alienated. Don't make the announcement if you don't want to be treated differently. Don't make the announcement if you don't want to be discriminated against. And that's why you can't compare being gay, LGBTQ, to being black, because we don't have a choice to make the announcement that we are black.
Exactly.
It's never a choice. You're going to automatically know that you are in fact black. Whereas your sexual orientation, no one is going to know unless you spill the beans. You tell someone.
Look, I have some wonderful LGBTQ friends.
Right.
When we went to San Francisco for my brother's funeral, I mean, people that knew I was going, and I knew the community that I was going into.
Right.
The first thing they said, "You're gonna have a ball, dude." And you know what? I sure as hell did.
Right.
Okay. And some of them listen to my show now. That was almost 4 years ago. I love those guys. You know, have no problem with them at all. You know, so look, they were black, they were white, they were male, they were female. I didn't care. I knew they loved my brother. And the first thing they said was, "Hey, your brother used to talk about you all the time. You look just like your brother." You know, so I didn't care. I mean, no, people are people. The problem is that we've got all these damn isms in this country, and it is what has torn us apart. I don't care what you are. If you treat me with respect, I'm gonna respect you. That's just the bottom line on that. I don't care. I don't care if you mess with goats.
I think he's taking a shot
Okay,
at
you know what, Dave?
I
You
think
got
he's
one more
taking
time.
a
Brother,
shot at
I had
you.
counseling for this.
I mean, he done mentioned the goat too many times. I'm trying to understand. Do you have a little animosity against?
No, ain't nothing. Only thing I want from a goat only thing I want from a goat is to throw them on a grill and throw some rib rub on them.
See, I tell you,
Okay.
you know I got in trouble
you just
last
inviolate-
week. I got in trouble last week for saying that
That's right.
because I ate that grilled goat.
I might eat my
mean,
goats. I'm pretty allowed to eat goats.
So
I
what
will
do
eat a
y'all?
goat.
Okay, so leading into this leads me into the Kevin Hart thing with Lil Nas. I think his questions were valid questions. Those were the questions that he was asking in that interview were questions that everybody wants to know. Like, why are you announcing it? So was his questions not valid? I mean, because, okay, a little background is there was an interview on some satellite radio thing, I believe. And Kevin Hart was on with Lil Nas, and then the question, it came up about his sexuality, and so Kevin Hart started asking, well, why are you saying it? Why now? Why are you telling people? Why is it important for you to tell people? Things like that. So he got a lot of blowback because of the questions that he was asking. So were those not valid questions? I mean, I didn't understand why the questions was offensive, and I hadn't had the opportunity to talk to anyone in the LGBTQ community to ask. So I'm asking now, why were those questions offensive? Was Kevin Hart wrong for asking those questions?
I don't know. I didn't see the interview, but if you're offended if you come up and ask me about my blackness and my culture, I'm gonna talk to you about my blackness and my culture. So if your culture is being gay, Look, what better way to dispel some myths?
Then to
Think about that. Than to answer the questions.
Right.
Okay, so I don't know. I ain't trying to carry no water, but nobody but black folks. So y'all keep carrying the water for the LGBTQ, the white folks, the Hispanics, all that stuff. I ain't carrying no water for nobody but melanin loving folk. Sorry, that's how I look at it.
Black Panther unites.
Right. Dave,
I'm
you have
just
a little
saying,
crunk
yeah,
on that one.
and look, well, and I agree partially only with that because we got our own people in the LGBT community. But you're right. I guess at some degree I get to a point where I get a little irritated that, here's my point. LGBT community people try to go out their way to say, hey, we just want to be treated with the same respect and none of the animosity and none of the seclusion and segregation as anybody else. Okay, so my thing about it is it's hard to do that when you sit around here and you run from this premise that, okay, it's a double-edged sword. It's just like women. Women say they wanted equal rights, right? They want to be equal with men. They want equal pay with men. They want to be self-determined. They want to be independent. And all of
they want
stuff.
Convenient equal rights.
Right.
And then the minute a woman hits a man and the man hits her back, well, you hit the woman. Well, hold on. Did you want to be
okay? So
equal? Now, which one is it? Do you want to really be equal or do you want special privilege?
The argument behind that is all women didn't want equal rights or don't care about equal rights. So that's the argument behind that. But like Avery said, he said it seems like some people are taking advantage of marketing opportunities to him. And I agree with Avery. Anything that's going to, put a person out there or keep them in the news. You know how they say all publicity is good publicity. It's kind of like that. So I agree with you. That is what some people are in fact doing to capitalize off different things. It's just like, a lot of the rappers that come out, I'll say the female rappers, they portray themselves as being bisexual because they think that that's what's going to get more people to follow along with them or watch them or listen to them or whatever. Because if you recall when Nicki Minaj came out as if she was bisexual. Has anybody ever seen her with a woman? We've never seen her date a woman. She's dated men this whole time. So, I mean, people capitalize off of different things. They use it for marketing tools. They use it to bring attention to themselves. And, it's kind of like when people say, like, buying homes or the property that you have, your property value goes up once they say gays move into the neighborhood. So, it's kind of like that. So I agree with you that people are taking advantage of marketing opportunities, Avery. I agree 100%.
So you guys want to come and take a quick break, and then we can come back and talk about Jay-Z with this new thing in the NFL. I think some people are going around saying, I told you so.
Dave is saying that. Yes, Dave,
I am sure he is.
Dave is saying it. He didn't even have to say it.
Here's our favorite line. Let's wait and see. Uh-oh. Well, let's do this. Let's go take a pause for the cause, pay some bills, and we will be back right here. Double Damage.
Hi, I'm attorney Theodore Thompson from the Thompson Law Firm, and I want to help with your legal matter. Whether it's criminal defense, bankruptcy, personal injury, or family law, I want to help you. I can be reached at 501-503-5095. Don't face your legal issues alone. You need an attorney whose primary objective is providing you with the best legal representation. Our office address is 415 North McKinley, Suite 710 in Little Rock. I'm attorney Theodore Thompson, and I want to provide you with the best legal representation. Hi, I'm attorney Theodore Thompson from the Thompson Law Firm, and I want to help with your legal matter. Whether it's criminal defense, bankruptcy, personal injury, or family law, I want to help you. I can be reached at 501-503-5095. Don't face your legal issues alone. You need an attorney whose primary objective is providing you with the best legal representation. Our office address is 415 North McKinley, Suite 710 in Little Rock. I'm attorney Theodore Thompson, and I want to provide you with the best legal representation.
I was trying to get it together with the live for the group, but it ain't working out. My phone ain't
y'all
standing up
got
today.
that low internet one. We're gonna have to give JC with some good internet for Christmas. How about that?
No, it's actually
It's not
staying
the
on
internet.
Today. It's staying on today.
If we're on the air, it's not the internet. So stop blaming it on us.
it's your
That's just like a black person. Blame it on somebody else.
He checked you. He checked
Hey,
you.
I
Yeah,
want
my
just
face
be
all
over
shiny
See what I'm
today.
saying? Well, let's blame Jay-Z right quick since we're going to go there. Because he gonna think you might want to throw shade about being my goats. Not had counseling for this. Let's talk about Jay-Z. So, naturally, we're back, folks. We want to talk about this. You know, of course, 3 weeks ago, your boy Hova made a gigantic uproar about being, a partner in the NFL. He bought into the NFL, so now he's going to be a partner. I mean, he did that with the Brooklyn Nets, too. He hooked up with some Russians back to Brooklyn, and he went and became a partial minority owner in the Brooklyn Nets. So now he's got, he's moving on up, and he's now getting in with the NFL. So naturally, people were hot. They're like, oh, he's selling us out, this, that, and the other, and we knew it was coming, and this, that, and the other, and he's a capitalist, and, other people are saying, well, we've got to get a seat at the table. And the only way you can get a seat at the table is you got to be part of the machine. Okay. So, and then, of course, there were the black folks who always do with black folks, well, unless you wait and see. Okay. So we've had a chance to wait and see. So what do you guys think about this? I mean, Dave, I know you probably are following this, so I'm going to let you help out Nakia with it, and then I'll comment on it about this group that he has pretty much aligned with that's for a new social justice cause. Are you familiar with that, Dave?
I'm familiar with him selling black people out. Yes.
Oh. You know what I'm saying? See, I tried to be nice.
Yes.
You about to go to a 10 already. Last week we talked about you being at a 10.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to be cool.
Take it down to about a 7.
Okay.
We're gonna do a 7 today.
Okay. I'll try. I didn't take my meds today.
Oh Lord. Okay.
Okay. So let's talk about this. This is about a group called Crushers Club, and the lady is Sally Hazelgrove, and she actually looks like a meth head if you want to look at it. And this is a group that she said that has had a history of making subliminal and indirect racism remarks to regards of the black people, plight of black people. In the past, she has expressed her disdain for cultural black hairstyle that involve long hair, specifically dreadlocks. Okay, claiming that cutting them off will give black folk a better life. Don't you love when white folk go and comment on black cultural issues as if they know what's best for us? Okay, she's an avid Trump supporter and believes that black people in Chicago should be placed on a curfew. And guess who's helping her raise funds for her organization? But then again, we want to say that you're hating on a brother. So let's talk about that. She did a thing with this guy in Chicago, this gentleman, was a member of a Chicago gang. And, he decided when he decided to get the gang, cut his dreads off. Now, that was a personal decision. But when he said he did it, he said totally his life changed for the better. Now, my question is, when all of a sudden now I mean, it's a sad thing that we still have to talk in the 21st century about cultural things as a point of discrimination. In other words, dreadlocks, natural hair, and how somehow wearing those things to appreciate your culture. But here's my thing: do white people have this thing that when they celebrate their culture that they get discriminated against? I mean, is that what we're doing? But then when black people and people of color wear dreadlocks, we go natural hair, we grow out full beards, we decide not to be clean shaven. That's a point of discrimination now. So the question becomes is when Jay-Z decided to hook up with this woman and her group to supposedly affect the change in the NFL, is he selling us out again? Is that what the real question is?
It sounds like it. It definitely sounds like it. If this person has aligned themselves with things that go directly against the black community, yes, to me, it sounds like you are selling yourself, you are selling out, that you are selling the black people out. Why would you align with somebody that has clearly shown you time and time again that they are against the black community? Anything that's beneficial to us, anything that's celebrating our culture, anything that has to directly do with us, and you're aligning with them. Why would you align with that? So yes, the answer to that is clearly, at least to me, it's clear that yes, he is selling out. He's selling us short.
Well, the funny thing about it, that's when, I heard black people say he's a capitalist. Look at the root word of capitalist, which is capital, which of course is funds or funding or whatever, or credit. And capitalize, which means that you can take advantage of a situation. When we say people capitalize on a situation, people
Right.
capitalize. That's why it's so funny to me when people get mad at places like Chick-fil-A or Home Depot or all these other things. Well, they support Trump, yeah, but typically they always support whatever side they think is going to spend their money. So it's just like in that movie Star Wars, and it's like, well, arm dealers they pick a side. No, they don't. They pick the side that they think is going to win. And sometimes they
Right.
sit on both sides to see which one comes out.
Right.
And that's what I think that Jay-Z is doing. They'll sit around here and sell guns to the government, and then mess around and sell guns to the rebels
Right.
because they want to hedge their bets. So they
You
want to
know, that's
capitalize on
happened
both.
all throughout history. That's
Yeah,
happened
they
all throughout.
capitalize on
Yeah.
both ends. And it's interesting to me, because everybody was like, well, Jay-Z got in the NFL so he can give Cap a job. Well, okay, yes, there are reports that Cap is working out. Now, I don't know if he's done this under direction of
Cap
Jay-Z. If he's
said
just
he's
doing that
never
because he's
stopped
under the
working
belief that he's
out.
going to get off. Huh?
Kaepernick said he's never stopped working out.
Mm,
Never. The whole time. He has never stopped working out. So that doesn't have anything to do with Jay-Z. That's what he was already doing.
mm, That and that's great. Now the question is, when Jay-Z gonna get him put on with the team, since he's
He's
got so
not.
much of this clout now with the NFL. And the question is, and it also comes to this report about what Jay-Z said about, supposedly a week and a half ago about black kids are, they're so indifferent or defiant against the police because they didn't grow up with black fathers. I don't think that has anything to do
That
with it.
has absolutely nothing to do with it.
I don't think it has anything to do with it.
My brother has been harassed by the police, and he grew up with a black father. Our father was in our life from the day we was born to the day he died. That has absolutely nothing to do with it. People feel the way that they feel about the police because of the treatment that they've received from the police. You see,
And
oh my goodness, that's yeah, okay. So what's
I
his
mean,
excuse? So I mean, come on, let's be real. We're talking about a dope dealer, So you're friends with the police now? That's what you're doing? That's what you're claiming? Is
well,
that what?
and see, that's the whole funny part about it. Everybody is interested now that Jay-Z has came up in the big league. All of a sudden now he's got this sort of more ambiguous conscience now about how things are done, and people are like, well, you sold drugs and you made a career off of disparaging black people, black women, bragging about selling dope. Now, my question is, look, can people now decide at a certain part of their life they want to get out of? Of course they can. But I mean, I think it's really weird when I see people go to two opposite sides of the extreme. You know what I'm saying?
Like they
You go
forgot where
from
they came from or what they did in their
right,
past, or you haven't made
right.
amends with what you did in your past, like you haven't reconcile the things that you did in your past. I think that it's important that you reconcile. You say something about it. you acknowledge it. You acknowledge those things that you did and how it affected your community, and that's my issue. I don't recall him ever, acknowledging the things that he did and how it affects our community and how he played a part in the destruction of the community, how he played a part in the destruction of the black woman, how he played a part in the destruction of his neighborhood, things like that. And I think that that's the most important thing that people have to realize. A lot of times we see money. Once you have money, people tend to think that it erases everything or it makes you somehow better. The argument is always, oh, but he got money, so he's not caring about that. That's true. That person does have money, but that money doesn't make them a better person. It doesn't make them a kind person. It doesn't make them an honest person, a person of integrity. It doesn't even make them an intelligent person. Look at Donald Trump. Look how much money he has. He's
Yep,
like
and
on the
actually,
lower end of the spectrum, if you ask me. So, having money is no consolation for not living an honest life or not living a life of integrity or not being a humble person or, anything like that.
And and that made me mad because I'm gonna talk about a post that triggered some people today. This week in the room, and that's what that's what I look. I'm sick of black folks talking about they living their best life, they making money and making hustles. That's the same argument they make for Cardi B when she sits around and shows how ignorant she is on mic. And look, I'm not hating on Cardi hustle. Congratulations that you gimmick, but see that doesn't talk about Cardi. That talks about the industry and what people satisfy and what people look at as music in the industry. Being from Brooklyn, I'm not impressed with Cardi B. To me, she's a Nicki Minaj rehash. Nicki Minaj is a Little Kim rehash. So they don't impress me because music industry has a way of putting out gimmicks every now. It used to be every 20 years they put out a gimmick. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Now they're doing it every 5 because music can be streamed. So people don't last in the industry that long. You don't have too many people can have the wherewithal. Back in our day, it was Gladys Knight, it was Patti LaBelle. They had 30 and 40 year tenures. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Now you got to do Beyonce and Mary J. Blige and maybe Mariah. She ain't did nothing in a minute because she was being an alcoholic on the mic on the New Year's party. That now you'll be lucky if you can get 20. Now today you'll be lucky if you can get 10 before a new gimmick. They rewrap a new gimmick. And that's the thing. Black people, we're so good at condoning. We're so good at trying to make excuses where they living their best life. Just like when I put that post out about Lizzo. I have nothing against Lizzo. Yeah, by all means, big sister girl, you go out here and do your thing.
Okay,
But
so let me say something about that. You talked about her and you said nobody is checking for her. There is a whole genre for women that look like her. There are men that like plus size women.
Like who?
Go to I can't say it on Joynet Radio, but it starts with a P and ends with a hub.com. Go to their website.
But I'm just saying.
Because you don't like it doesn't mean that others don't like it.
Personally, I could care less. My thing about it wasn't with me about what she looks like. It's about what she said. And my thing about it is the guys that check that she's looking for don't check for her. Because those guys date, 1, white women. Number 2, they date small white women. So for you to sit around and say you had a bad relationship with F-boys and I'm going to date white men, you know what I'm saying? To me,
now that was
I
ignorant. I agree.
But don't come up here trying to bash black men because at the end of the day, those were your choices that you made. You run around here on stage like a big yellow peep. And you're
Did
bad.
you call her a peep? Like the candy? You called her a peep like the candy, like the Easter candy.
Yeah, she was dressed up. I saw her. And don't get me wrong, the performance was hot. But I'm like, boo, I'm not trying to be funny though. You need to check with your people and your style, and maybe not need to wear that on stage.
Okay, so
I'm just saying.
People like it though. Desanji, people like that. People like that. They're checking for her. She's a star. They're loving it. They say she's living her best life. She's standing in her truth. She's standing in who she is.
But you do know.
But I do know what you broke up.
I'm sorry. You do know a majority of her listening base is white people, right?
Right. I can't tell you one song that she sings. So yeah, I don't listen.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying you don't get to the Billboard 100 with just black lists. You
True.
get that with a mixed crowd across the South.
Right.
I mean, Little Nas X would have never made it Old Town Road. Just listen to black folks. Because why black folks don't buy music? We steal it from streaming.
I don't steal music at all.
Okay, so I'm just saying. So it's not her. So again, my thing is stop condoning when we talk about Jay-Z and these performers who are doing good and look like they're doing great things. Stop giving them passes, black people, just because they making money and you seem like you mad because you not. Because it's always, well, let's don't hate on black people, let's celebrate them. Well, my point is a black person aligned with something that's harmful to you, you still celebrate them.
The thing is, I'm gonna tell you like I tell my kids, you don't choose a side, you just stand for what's right. And when you stand for what's right, you don't have to choose a side or you don't have to condone BS because you're standing for what's right. So that's how that works. If you just stand for what's right and what's going to be beneficial to you and your family or beneficial to the black community. You don't choose things based off fads. You don't choose things based off what's hot. Oh, that's hot. No, you don't do that. You choose what's right. That's how you fix that situation.
Well, but wasn't it the same thing? Look, didn't we go through this whole argument with R. Kelly though? That was the whole point. The first thing when R. Kelly came out here, and I don't care if you want to blame the parents, you want to blame the kids, you want to blame R. Kelly and the king and the Pied Piper pedophilia. I don't care how you want to blame it. The first defense that black people came to R. Kelly is I won't stop listening to him because we grew up on his music. His music was hot. Yeah, we all of us did something strange for a piece of change with R. Kelly music. All of us did the good tuck for a buck. We done hollered for $1. So my thing about it is we've all knew that in the 90s, R. Kelly was basically, as a solo artist, undefeatable, right?
Right.
So sit around and said, well, because he was this, and I remember him doing this back in the day, and he's been basically a pioneer in the music for the last 20 years, that, he can't do no wrong. No, you can do wrong.
No, I don't think that that's what people were saying. I think that people were saying that stop listening to his music. What is that going to do? Don't go out and buy any new albums, but the albums and things that you already have, why are you going to stop listening to him?
Still listen to his music.
People still listen to R. Kelly. Just like they still listen to Elvis, they still listen to Marvin Gaye, they still listen to all these people that have lived an alternative lifestyle or less than stellar lifestyle. So, what?
I said Marvin Gaye lived an alternative lifestyle.
I mean, he liked younger women.
I'm just asking.
It's a whole list of people that dated younger women or dated girls. So, I mean, you would have to stop listening to a lot of people. Heck.
Well, I don't really listen. Well, once it's known, I don't really listen to people that promote and basically justify. Now, granted, people say, well, we listen to Elvis Presley. Well, white people listen to that. He married Priscilla when she was 14. Well, one, I'm not an Elvis Presley fan per se. I do know his music. But once you sit around here and brag, yeah, I like him young, boy. Woo. Bro, there's a moral deficiency in you to like itty bitty titty. I'm sorry. It's just what it is. So if you're bragging about that instead of saying, yeah, maybe I got a problem and I need to go get help, I'm probably not going to support you anymore. And you're right. You could be holed up in your shack and still mess around with young girls the rest of your day like Hugh Hefner. I'm just not going to support you.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I'm not going to support you. So you can get all your money over here, but wrong is wrong even when everybody is doing it, and right is still when nobody's doing it.
So if everybody does wrong, does it eventually make it right because that's what everybody is doing?
No, but remember what the Joker said in the movie Batman. He said 80% of this world is only as good as the world allows them to be. He said that. He said when the chips are down, he said so-called civilized people will eat each other. So that's the way this world is.
That's true.
People want to be part of the crowd. They want to be part of, I don't want to be left out. I don't want to be the person that's the lone stander, and I don't want to stand on nothing moral. So because I don't want to stand on nothing moral, and sometimes standing on something moral means you got to be ostracized, people don't want to do it. You know,
Well,
I'll be
morals have gone out the window now. The morals that was instilled in us as kids and the values, you don't see that anymore. People don't look at things like that. They don't even care about things like that. It's like, do
everybody wants
whatever.
office. And unfortunately, let's go back to the original conversation of this show. Like David Chappelle said, he said when you go around, I mean, I was tripping when I saw people who were quote unquote liberal media like Young Turks and stuff just bashing Dave about these so-called LBT jokes he made.
But then it
Because my
was some
point
people
is,
that's in that community that wasn't bashing him. They said, "Hey, it's jokes. Jokes are jokes are jokes." So
right, and if you're not saying anything disparaging about him, if you're just saying stuff like you said, you got to laugh at yourself first. If you can't laugh at yourself, if people take themselves too seriously and they can't laugh at themselves, that's a problem.
right,
That I should be offended every time Red Fox used the N word. I should be offended every time Richard Pryor used the N word in his thing. Because I'm like, hey, I'm not an N word. I'm a black person. I'm an African American. How dare he use that? And the same thing with white people. Should white people be offended? White people still listen to Richard Pryor stuff today because it's classic.
right.
You see what I'm saying? And even though they knew when they came to the concert, he would make fun of them. They came anyway. He gonna make
Right.
fun of white folks, but they love it. And here's the same thing. Cat Williams does it with his, because Cat Williams has a crossover crowd. A lot of black people think just because he's from the hood, he only has black folks in his audience. No, he has quite a few white folk in
Yes,
his
he
thing.
does.
He will shout out.
It's just gonna be me.
But they said what he said.
So can you hear us, Desanjay? Oh, it looks like it's kicked him off. It looked like you have been kicked off. It sounds like you have been kicked off. We can't hear you any longer.
Oh, I think that's Satan messing around with the boy, but I'm gonna speak the truth regardless. So let me ask Dave this because we get ready to end it on that. So, Dave, have you any final thoughts on this before we end out today?
Dave, can you hear him? Say it again. Say it again so he can hear you.
Oh, okay. I said, Dave, you have any final thoughts on this before we end out today?
You kind of blinking out, but just quickly, because we've got to run. But just quickly, as far as Jay-Z is concerned, I've said this once. I'm going to say it again. If we're going to live our lives based on a rapper, then we're in trouble.
Yeah, we are.
And I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay?
Nikki, any final thoughts from you, Dog?
My final thoughts are just choose the side that's right. Don't go with the status quo or what everyone else is doing. You have to choose what's right for you and right for your community. And it has to have some moral values behind it, plain and simple. That's how I feel. And I also feel that people need to stop being so hypersensitive to what's said or what's going on. You make a choice to be offended by certain things or be mad about certain things. Some things, if it doesn't directly affect you, you can walk away from. Some things you don't have to announce. It's a lot of things that I think or feel that I'm never going to announce to people because I don't want the judgment. I don't want to hear someone else's opinion about it because really I don't care what your opinion is on it.
Right, and it shouldn't be, in my opinion, it shouldn't have nothing to do with you. And I want to say this, I want to thank everybody. Nikki, are we doing our cocktails tonight?
Yes, we are doing cocktails tonight.
We doing cocktails tonight, okay.
Yeah, we're doing cocktails
We'll see you guys later on tonight. Hopefully I'll make it out of Burnt Scrotum, Arkansas alive. If I'll get back because I punched a collar out of my mouth. It's Trump stuff down here. It's Delta. So we're going to go out here tonight. We're going to end today. We will see you guys tonight. We're going to do 9 o'clock. Is that what time we're doing now, woman?
Yeah, we're doing 9 o'clock. Isn't that what time happy hour starts?
Yeah, about 9 o'clock.
All
For the
right.
cheap girls, we're going to do 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. We're going to get us some good fiddles, and we're going to talk about tonight something. I forgot what we said we're going to talk about. We'll figure it out when we get on the show. But I want to thank you guys for joining us again Friday. We will see you guys again. Hopefully Don Malone will be part of the party next week. And us See you guys next Friday. Same bad time, same bad channel. And don't forget, if you can't stand the heat, stand. See you later, folks.
All right.
Bye.
All right.